Yes, good afternoon and welcome. This is Suzette Speak Show. Wagwan, Wagwan. It's Memorial Day weekend. Wagwan, Miami, Wagwan, Fort Lauderdale, Palm Beach. I see you. Wagwan, St. Lucie, the Keys. Hey, you checking in? Good to have you here. It's the Suzette Speak Show. I come to you live every Thursday and Friday from 1 p.m. to 2 p.m. I'm so excited. We talk news, we talk social media, we talk all kinds of trends and, things you can use. So I welcome you if you're new here. I have I always say so much news, so little time. What are we talking about? What are we getting into? Well, I want to start with first of all, it's Memorial Weekend. What are you doing this weekend? Are you going to be outside? Your girl will be outside. I got the outfits lined up. I'm ready to enjoy life. The way life going right now, trust me, we just got news that Raul Castro has been indicted. What does this mean, you guys? We're going to break it down. Raul Castro, the current 94-year-old president of Cuba, is now been indicted. Now we heard this kind of a line of rhetoric with the Venezuelan president, who was I don't know. Some people are using the word kidnap, but we could say taken from Venezuela and put in front of a New York court. Him and his wife. So now that we're seeing that the U.S. has indicted the Cuban president, we're going to break it down. What does this mean? And what do you think will happen next? People are nervous. People are looking around wondering, does this mean that the United States is going to take some kind of hostile action towards Cuba? We don't know. I don't know. I'm not going to speculate too much, but I'll just tell you what is happening right now because that is the top news story, the indictment of Cuban President Raul Castro. We also going to talk NBA. Have you guys been following the NBA? I was just talking to Humble Lion. First of all, I came in the studio super early today, and I think it shocked everyone. They're like, "What are you doing?" I had to take my mom to a doctor's appointment, so shout out to mommy. So I was able to come a little bit earlier than usual, and I was talking to Humble Lion. First of all, big up Humble Lion on the set. Do you guys see the tone that's been set for Memorial Weekend? First of all, the midday meditation. Today is Thursday, Throwback Thursday, old school vibe. And what he's giving us, everybody will be giving us. Okay, it's gonna the DJs that we have, the lineup that we have, no other station does it like we do here at Voice of the Caribbean. First and foremost, big up all of the crew. Voice of the Caribbean was at a wonderful, it looked like a press conference for Sumfest. It took place yesterday, and several of our lovely hosts and DJs and staff were in the building. Sumfest will take place this summer. I'll tell you a little bit more about that. They're doing a full, this is Sumfest in Jamaica if you don't know, but they're doing a full Gaza versus Gully. Gaza versus Gully will take stage at Sumfest in Jamaica. If you know, you know. The old school dance hall heads and those of us who came up from 90s and 2000s dancehall, even before that. Some of us come up with 70s and 80s dancehall. But if you know classic dancehall rivalries, you know that Gaza versus Gully at a time had us in a chokehold, baby. So they're bringing back Gaza versus Gully for Sumfest. I'm excited about that. Now, I don't know about, yeah, I wasn't there yesterday, but I would have a question on the controversy around one DJ extraordinaire. I'm going to give him his props. The godfather, many would say, of modern dance hall, and having gone to prison and come back with the incredible record-breaking Freedom Street concert in Jamaica. Remember that December? Can you believe it? It's like almost 2 years. It's wild, and this renaissance of sorts of Mr. Adidja Palmer, aka Vibes Cartel, has been amazing to watch. So I don't take any weight of that, any weight from that, as I discuss, what is trending now. What is trending all of this week was Mr. Adidja Palmer, aka Vibes Cartel, posting in his. It wasn't the birthday suit because he had on some good boxer shorts, no boxer brief and thing. But people I wonder, well, Gaza fans anyway, because I consider myself a Gaza fan. The man who we knew prior to going away, so to speak, had a different aesthetic, had a different parent. Again, you don't know these people. These are just, knowing them through the lyrics, knowing them through interviews, and what they choose to show off. Because remember, Vibes Cartel is also a brand, right? He's a person as well. but what he stood for at that time. People are saying, are you down with the new cartel? Are you down with Mr. Adidja Palmer giving us his birthday suit? Not quite. He had, like I said, the boxer brief was in effect, but the man come out in a shower cap and robe and a dance to the. Can I play a little of the song? Do special? Well, it's good advertising. One thing I can say, that man is great at moving attention, right? Because in this social media time, what do people want is your attention, and I given them too much myself. Been on Facebook and Instagram and other things far too much this week. However, it is in part is people are discussing. We talked about the culture and where it's going, and of course the dance hall world was shaken up last week, and still is, by the introduction of the Hilangoli rhythm, and we talked about, is it appropriate? Last week's shows, if you tuned in, we talked about that evolution of dancehall and how Steven, the genius producer, Jamaican, I would call him also a I don't want to say phoenix, but he's also a trendsetter in Jamaican dancehall music. Came with the Hill and Gully rhythm, and some people say the songs were too slack, and kids can't even listen to it because it is just it's not capturing the intrinsic nature of that particular cultural rhythm. Now, fast forward to now, when we look at Vibes Cartel's post, were you offended? Were you a fan? Were you there cheering on my guy, Mr. Adidja Palmer, and saying, he's just living his best life. Leave him alone. Let him express himself. And black man's joy oftentimes is not allowed to be fully expressed in all its beauty and, in all of its expression. However, the Gaza fans, when I read the comments, the Gaza fans that I was looking at, they was like, the old cartel wouldn't approve of the new cartel. The old cartel would say, hey, boy, put on your clothes. What is happening? Hey, I got to go there. But, still my DJ. I don't know how at the reception yesterday if anybody got into that. Any questions, any answers, anything like that. But like I said, the cartel that I fell in love with from pre-prison was, always going to be my DJ. I was laughing because I saw online. Let me take a little sip of lime water. We got lime water today. Also, shout out to my Zoes. This week was Haitian Flag Day, wearing them proudly. Let me say, from car tops to out the car windows to flag clothing to bandanas to everywhere you look, Haitian flag earrings. Yes, I saw my Zoes out and proud. It was, beautiful. Of course, May is Haitian American Heritage Month as well. So we salute our Haitian brothers and sisters, Haitian American brothers and sisters who are celebrating. We respect and love you. And again, I think, the crime that has been committed against Haiti literally for centuries, is ongoing. So our hearts are with you, all our brothers and sisters who are listening. Shout out to you and happy Haitian Heritage Month. I also saw a scam on TikTok I wanted to bring to your attention. There was a scam I saw, and I was like, you know what? I'm actually going to, during the break, I'm going to pull up the news story itself. I saw that our local Miami-based, I think it's ABC affiliate, ran a story yesterday as I was looking online for just news stories that I always, if I pay attention to it, I figure you are also paying attention to it. We're going to talk Ebola. There's still an Ebola out. Listen, between Hanta virus we talked about a couple weeks ago, Hanta from the cruise ship, you remember Hanta virus? And there's still people being contact traced and tested for that, the Hanta virus. Now there is the Ebola, a U.S. doctor testing positive. We're trying to get to the bottom of some of these, where are we when it comes to the virus. Also, top breaking news today, the Democrats have released a 2024 autopsy report. Remember this, the election with Joe Biden, Miss Kamala Harris. And what happened, Kamala Harris's campaign put out a statement. They said the report is kind of messy. It doesn't meet the standards of a lot of people's thoughts of what should by now have been the report as far as what happened and how we could do better and if there was any mistakes made and who was to blame. Yeah, that kind of report of the 2024 election. Do you care? Do you care right now? Shout out to everybody watching on the YouTube side. Big up yourself if you're just joining. The time check is now 1:18. It is the Suzette Speak Show. I come to you live again every Thursday and Friday from 1 p.m. to 2 p.m. We are in the streets. This weekend is Memorial Day weekend. Miami, what you doing? I just got off the phone before my show. I'm texting back and forth with my homegirl. What we doing? What we doing? Tomorrow, we out in the streets. What we doing Saturday? What we doing Sunday? Because like I said, life is just for living with everything else going on in the world. You too must find joy, and I encourage you to do that. However, do it safely with friends, with family. Make sure you're all right and safe, keeping it safe. No drinking and driving and all that good stuff this weekend. But people want to celebrate life in spite of everything that's happening. We also have the lawmakers who are criticizing the Trump administration, what they're calling the quote weaponization fund. Have you heard about this? People are calling it. Have you heard about this? The so-called slush fund for people who have been wrongly persecuted by the government. Apparently, they can seek redress. Remember what happened? Mr. Trump filed a lawsuit against the IRS saying that his tax returns were illegally released. Then he took it to court, was about to get a ruling by the judge. Then they came to a settlement. This is kind of weird because it's President Trump suing his own IRS in his government, right? So it's like the Trump administration, Trump himself suing his own government. It's kind of weird. So the judge was going to rule on that this week. And the case, instead of going to the judge's ruling or waiting for the judge's ruling, is it proper for a president to rule or to sue his own government for, I guess it was a couple billions of dollars? What are we doing? Should the lawsuit even have validity? Well, before that, the IRS, that is against the Trump administration's IRS, came to a settlement with President Trump. I know, follow me, I know. And created a so-called 1776 fund, $1.7 billion. $1.7 billion now has been set aside by the IRS of whose money? Whose money, guys? Anybody in the class? Whose money? Whose money? Not Trump's money. So Trump, in exchange for not going forward with the lawsuit, which he withdrew. So this is not even a court order. This is a so-called settlement, but it's almost like an agreement because it wasn't settling a case. The case was withdrawn. So instead of getting a judge ruling on the case, the plaintiff, the Trump administration, Trump himself, withdrew his filing against the IRS in exchange for the IRS forming a so-called fund for people who have been wronged by the government. People are saying this is very scary. This is some commentators, and I'm not telling you how to feel about it, just reporting. And I'll get some more information about it. I want to touch back on Raul Castro. You know, I touch and go. I have so much to tell you, but I want to cover most of the stories. Again, this is Memorial Day weekend. Join us on Monday. The celebrity football match. I cannot believe it's here. I was telling my homegirl already. We've been waiting for Memorial Day for over so long. We've been advertising. But the celebrity football match, artists versus media and selectors, is here, y'all. Yes. Where do you want to be one day? Join us alongside the city of Lauderhill, the Voice of the Caribbean, and Just Flex presents Celebrity Football Match. Pom, 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 pom. Sorry, I don't have any voice. I don't have any special effects, but that's what I do. Anyway, so join us on Monday, Memorial Monday from 12 noon to 9 p.m. It's a family affair under the patronage of Consul General Oliver Mayer. We're going to have some of your favorite performers and artists and selectors taking the field. Yes, they not only sing or produce or DJ, yes, they also play. So shout out to the rosters. The rosters are looking very nice, including the likes of Matt Cobra, yes, Chuck, who else? Gypsy King, sorry, I'm reading from afar. Tony Curtis, as well as Luke Kitty, Christopher Martin, Chuck Fender. Yeah, that's what I was looking at. Chuck Fender. Decks and apps for the ladies. Yes, Weenie Wonder. Can't wait. Of course, our very own Mikey Mike will take the field. Can't wait for say Super Twitch. Them say Super Twitch a big man, but he still can't run up and down. Yeah, man. Big up Super Twitch from Ever Since. Also Teflon. So many more, y'all. Louis Spree, our very own remix king. Yeah, man. Mr. Vegas taking the field as well. Can't wait to see all of these legends playing for their fans. Yes, join us. You can also find these tickets on Eventbrite. Right now, you can use my last name as a discount. $5 off. Ready. Suzette speaks with an S, right? Put that in the Eventbrite when you buy the ticket then. And we will see you at the park. That's Lauderhill Sports Complex this Monday. Brought to you by Voice of the Caribbean. We did an amazing job. Good afternoon, everybody watching on the Suzette Speaks YouTube channel. Make sure you log in. Follow me, Suzette, 1Z, 2 T's, Speaks, like I said with an S. Use my last name. for a discount. Get your tickets now. Listen, I have started looking online for my memorial tickets for the different party them. And trust me, the prices have started to go up. Some of these parties that I know was $30 last week, already posting for 60, 65. Them not worth it. I'm not buying it at 65. Me, I go look to a free party for stand up in. Trust and believe. I'm looking already. Some of the parties that I again were 65 last week are posted at 90 this week. You know they be taxing. You know I love our promoters, but they be taxing. So because it's Memorial Weekend and so many people, I don't know, are people still traveling again with the gas prices and the grocery prices still going up, inflation, woo, highest we've seen since Trump began in office and beyond. We're looking at people are looking at their pocketbooks, right? Today is also the final goodbye of the Colbert Late Show. Are you gonna miss it? Do you care? Are you a late night comedy show watcher? Well, as we heard last year, they said the Stephen Colbert show, CBS that is, said that the Colbert show would be canceled due to, I think they said it was over costs and it was too expensive to put together. Some are saying it's too political, and Mr. Trump and others did not enjoy being, poked fun at. So they're asking, what is tonight going to be? This is the last Stephen Colbert show, right? So just in case, finale time, y'all. Final goodbye for Colbert's Late Show. So what do you think? They're not putting out a lot about who's going to be on it and what to expect, but it's a grand finale. How do you feel about that? What else will Stephen Colbert do? Because he's actually pretty funny. But to all the late night hosts, you think it'll pack them? And the political environment, will it have a impact that there's one less voice that is using comedy to, some would say, bring truth, others would say be critical of the administration and other political topics? But the Late Show, remember, was hosted in the previous era by David Letterman. It debuted in 1993 and has been a staple in American culture, the Late Show. But again, it created a lot of viral moments, coffee cooler talk, as they say. After Letterman, we got Stephen Colbert taking the desk. But tonight is the final. If you care, if this is something that matters to you, and if you are following, again, I like the comedic takes on life. And I think the American people digest their news a lot in comedy. So anyway, did you get, okay, back to the NBA. NBA, fire is on. The Thunder, OKC Thunder, come back winning 122-113 against the San Antonio Spurs. I was telling Humble Lion as we were exchanging that he was leaving and I was coming in. The NBA is sweet again to me. Shea Gilgis, I keep saying his name wrong. Gilgis Alexander for 30 points. He evens up the series. Remember the game one the Spurs took at OKC was legendary. I was telling Humble Lion, I have kind of stepped away from the NBA. I did not watch a lot, from the Heat, had LeBron days even. Like, I wouldn't say, like, I'm talking about watch religiously. There was a time where you had to be home, you had to watch the game, you had to see what was going to happen. I don't know, it became a little lackluster for me. There was a Steph Curry kind of fandom I developed a little bit. But I never really watched NBA games all throughout the season. I always wait till playoffs anyway. Playoffs for me, when people actually really start playing, always kind of wait till the end of the season to show up. I also felt that, again, I don't know, I wasn't in love with the superstars like the way I was in love with the game of basketball and their styles of basketball from the 90s and the 2000s. I just remember my father and I sit up watching the triple headers on Sundays. That's something that we had in common. We love watching basketball. And it's just, I have so many memories around NBA. But let me tell you, this new group of youngsters, particularly on the San Antonio Spurs, the average age of their starting lineup is like 21, 22. But the one I'm speaking about in particular, Victor Wembanyama, they call him Wemby, the 7'5" Goliath, the man tall, the man long, the man lanky, the arm, the wingspan, the body type, and he's strong. He's put on weight. But watching him play has brought back that sweetness, the feeling I had. Take me back, loving basketball. I have been locked into the last 2 games for the Spurs at OKC. And of course, I stayed up also losing sleep watching the, Cavs in New York. is back. Listen, I thought they had it wrapped up. I thought Donovan Mitchell and the Cavs had them wrapped up 20 points down, but New York found a way. And let me tell you, the basketball, I'm cheering at the TV. I'm even screaming at go, go, go. I'm like, no, yes, emotions up and down. You know, it's like, again, once again, you're in the Coliseum, right? The arena, like how you used to feel, or I used to feel. I don't know how you used to feel, but I'm just saying, if you stop watching NBA, this might be the time to start back. Listen, I got to take a quick break. Remember, lock your tickets in right now. Memorial Day match, the soccer match, celebrity soccer match, that is. Memorial Monday. That's what I mean to say. Memorial Monday. This Monday, y'all, it's Memorial Weekend. Have you laid your plans? Where will you be? I'm starting Friday night. Yeah, we outside. We're going hard all weekend. Anyway, I got to take a quick pause for the cause, station identifier. But we have a lot more to talk about. Stay locked right here on Voice of the Caribbean.
The City of Lauderdale, the voice of the Caribbean.
Hey, guys. I got audio on what's going on with Raul Castro. I gotta find audio. Oh, I gotta find ABC Miami attorney scam. I want to talk to people about the attorney scam. Immigrants targeted by scammers. That's what I want to play. Do they have audio? Do they have the audio? I guess I can read it. They don't have the audio. They did such a good news report on it yesterday. I thought I had the video. Anyway, how y'all doing? It's a crazy day. Memorial Day is coming up. Down here in Miami, you know what it is. We outside. I got a couple outfits ready. I don't care. I'll be sweating it out outside. It's gonna be super hot as well. Let me comb my hair. What's going on here? Looking a little scraggled. How are you guys? Please drop a like. Please say hi in the comments. Please help me with my engagement. Hit the like button and please say hi. I see you, Smooth Approach. Let me see who else. Anybody else? Oops. Good afternoon, sir. How are you? Hope you're doing well. I ain't put no eyeliner on. It's all good. Y'all see me anyway. Mm. I gotta find this. Let me see if I can find the sound on ABC Miami. ABC Miami fake. ABC Miami lawyer scam. It was a good news report, and I want to play it for people. They pretending to be lawyers on TikTok, taking people's money and everything. Oh, good. I found it. 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 Yay, I can play this. Alleged scammers use fake lawyers and fake court to prey on immigrants. This hurt my spirit. Oh, they did it. Oh, it's a 7 minute and 50. Is this right? Pastor fake immigration lawyer charge. Oh Lord, this is not new. Oh yeah yeah. I didn't know. Okay, shout out to who's watching NBA. We outside. I'm trying to decide what else I want to talk about. Raul Castro. Let's do Raul Castro. They done turned up the AC. I'm hot as heck. Just give me 1 second. Got me sweating. Hold on. Whoop, almost fell. All right, guys, I'm back. I had to. It's hot in the studio. The girl ready for outside. It's the weekend, honey. How y'all doing? What y'all gonna be doing this weekend? All right, we got 2 minutes. Not even. All right, let me see. Do I want to talk about Raul Castro? I think I have to. People are worried about this. Are we gonna invade Cuba, guys? It's crazy. Every time you turn on the news, Raul Castro. I'm gonna play a little bit of the news story with regard to Raul. Oh, let's do the AP. U.S. indicts former Cuban president for the 96. I don't understand if this allows them. Oh, the real reason this is happening is possibly. I'm gonna throw it out there. I'm gonna throw it out what I think it is because this makes no sense. But is this even legal? Or are they gonna go and try to extract this man the way they did the Venezuelan person? Venezuelan. Oh my god. Oh, Google changed their logo too. Nicolas Maduro. Okay, are they gonna do him like Nicolas Maduro? Ousted by this. Okay, I have to get all this stuff together. NBA, Cuban president. Okay, I got a couple of things lined up. All right, we're done.
World Pre-World Cup kickoff Sunday, June 7th at Broward Regional Park Cricket Stadium starting at 2 p.m. Bring the family out for the Youth Activity Clinic, live entertainment, great food, and
Alrighty. Could be my hot lemon water. It could be some of that. Let me put my thing down. Am I too high for you guys? Okay, that's fine. My thing that hangs up my dress doesn't want to stay inside my dress. Anyway, hope you're having a beautiful day. Happy Memorial Weekend to you. Drop a comment. Let me know what kind of activities you guys got planned. And we going outside. We going outside, outside. Outside, outside, outside.
The voice of the Caribbean. Follow us on Instagram, Facebook, X, TikTok, and YouTube.
Yes, we're back. It's the Suzette Speaks Show. Wagwan, everybody. I'm so happy that you're here with me. If you're new here, welcome. I'm Suzette Speaks, your hostess with the mostest. I'm here to talk hot topics, social media trends, news you can use. You know, there's so much going on. People are asking, Sue, what's really happening with this Raul Castro? This is a top story right now that the current 94-year-old president of Cuba has now been indicted as of yesterday. Did you guys hear this? I'm going to play a little audio from CNN so you kind of get the gist of the facts so far. And this is what we know. Cubans are wondering what is coming next. This is according to the Associated Press, right? The Associated Press, the AP news organization, their author, Andrea Rodriguez. She shares in this article published just yesterday, many spoke strongly against U.S. intervention, but here is where we are. The United States indicts former Cuban President Raul Castro over, this is the grounds they're saying, and again, I don't know, because we have just seen this take place with Venezuelan president. Some are calling him former. He would say he's still the president. Nicolas Maduro, remember how he was ousted and the U.S. military went down chopper style into the capital and extracted the president of Venezuela and brought him to New York because he was indicted too. Well, we don't know that that's going to happen, but according to this AP report, U.S. has indicted the former Cuban President Raul Castro over the 1996, did I say president? Former Cuban president, I apologize. Over the 1996 drowning of a couple of planes. Now, I am old enough to kind of remember the news story, but what happened in 1996? So this is what the AP is reporting. Federal prosecutors on Wednesday charged former Cuban President Raul Castro with ordering the 1996 shoot down of civilian planes operated by Miami-based exiles, a major escalation of pressure by the Trump administration on the socialist government. Now, everybody understand what's going on in Cuba right now? Do you understand what's going on in Cuba? Because the reason why I brought up Nicolas Maduro, the Venezuelan president that we went and took out of his country, that, remember, there's a huge blockade as a result of that, of oil that normally flows to places like Cuba, because Venezuela is no longer permitted per the United States to export oil the way they normally have. Anyway, so there is currently electric outage and fuel and gas shortage all throughout the Cuban island. People are suffering. Did you know that? Okay, I just want to kind of place some kind of context on what is happening right now. Things are not going well in Cuba due to, we have to say, they're not just in the dark because they want to be, due to the shortage of the supplies that would normally have come from places like Venezuela, right? So when we're seeing this, and this indictment, it was just put out yesterday for former Cuban President Raul Castro, with the grounds being that he ordered, quote unquote, the 1996 shoot down of civilian planes operated by Miami-based exile. Right? And again, this is now a new degree of pressure by the Trump administration on the socialist government of Cuba. According to the Associated Press article, President Trump has set a calamitous energy blockade on the island. What I just explained to you, there's a nice and fancy way of saying they are not getting any electricity or fuel right now in Cuba. They have run out. Remember, it's an island. It has to be imported. They don't make anything as far as fuel. So if you can't get diesel and gas, and if you cannot get things to help you run an electric grid, you have no electricity. People are bathing. People are going about cooking old-fashioned ways, old-time ways, struggling to make things work as far as their businesses because there is very little power, if not almost what they call here calamitous, like calamitous energy blockade on the island. And again, we know that President Trump has threatened, according to the AP, military action ever since the U.S. forces captured the Cuban government's longtime patron, the Venezuelan president, as I mentioned, Nicolas Maduro. Okay, so we see this indictment. Let me play some of the CNN, and that'll clear it up a little bit and make it a little bit quicker and a little easier for you to understand some of the elements of what we know now. This is a CNN report taken from YouTube. This title is called Cuban Government Responds to Ex-President Castro's Now Historic Indictment. Again, this is the context. This was published just yesterday when the news broke that the Trump administration has indicted former Cuban President Raul Castro, now 94, on charges that stem from his alleged role in the 1996 shoot-down of 2 civilian aircraft that killed 4 people, including 3 Americans. While announcing the charges, which include conspiracy to kill U.S. nationals, Acting U.S. Attorney General Todd Blanche said President Donald Trump, quote, will not forget its citizens. Cuba's current president called the indictment a political maneuver without any legal basis, unquote. The indictment comes at a tense time for U.S.-Cuban relations, according to CNN, with the Trump administration declaring that the Cuban government is a threat, listen, to U.S. national security. Cuba is also dealing with the collapse of its energy sector. Why? Due to the blockade following the U.S. attack on Cuba's oil-rich ally, Venezuela. Are we putting the pieces together? So let's talk about what charges were unsealed. Again, this is from the CNN Post. This was made yesterday from CNN News Central, so you can hear some of the facts for yourself.
Decades-long contentious relationship between the United States and Cuba. Just a short time ago, the Department of Justice unsealed criminal charges against former Cuban President Raul Castro. Prosecutors charging him with conspiracy to kill U.S. nationals, destruction of an aircraft, and 4 counts of murder. Acting Attorney General Todd Blanche saying this to Cuban Americans who have been demanding justice for years.
We also do not forget the families, the loved ones, and the friends who have carried grief and heartache for 30 years. For the first time in nearly 70 years, senior leadership of the Cuban regime has been charged in this country, in the United States of America, for acts of violence resulting in the deaths of American citizens. Nations and their leaders cannot be permitted to target Americans.
Let's get reaction on this historic indictment live from Havana with CNN's Patrick Ottman. Patrick, how are Cuban officials reacting to these new criminal charges?
We're finally getting some reaction after really silence all day long that this indictment was coming, as everyone has known for days. And this is Cuba's President Miguel Diaz-Canel. I'll just read a little bit of it. But he says that the indictment against Raul Castro, quote, just announced by the U.S. government, only reveals the arrogance and frustration that the representatives of the empire feel toward the unyielding resolve of the Cuban Revolution. He goes on to say that there's no legal basis, that Cuba 30 years ago was defending itself against the Brothers to the Rescue, planes which, as we know, were unarmed, but the Cuban government had accused them of coming into Cuban airspace previously. So officials here are very angry. They're not surprised by this. Certainly after we saw Nicolas Maduro get taken by U.S. Special Forces at the beginning of the year, they have known that this could be coming, that this was in the works. They have been threatened by the U.S. As we have seen this relentless pressure campaign go on to try and force Cuban government officials to make larger concessions to the United States to open up their political and economic system. Here's something they've refused to do now as they have engaged with the Trump administration. But negotiations just really don't seem to have gone anywhere. And the question is now, does this added pressure, indicting not only a former president, but still the most powerful person on this island, the individual who is head of the military, that has handpicked every political and military leader that is in power at this point, that officials tell us still oversees all the major decisions from retirement that this island takes, particularly when it comes towards relations with the U.S. Does indicting him make a deal more likely, or is...
Will it make the deal more likely or less likely? Again, this is Suzette Speaks Show, playing you just a clip from breaking news taken from CNN YouTube. This was a report that was made yesterday and submitted after everyone got knowledge that the former president, but as this man is describing, one of the CNN correspondents is describing, is saying that even though Raul Castro, remember the brother of late Fidel Castro, former president, the current president is Diaz-Canel, and saying that he is been charged by the United States government for involvement in a 1996 shoot down, basically of civilian aircraft. I think they were called Brothers to the Rescue, if I'm not mistaken at the time, that would go out over the straits between Florida and Cuba, dropping pamphlets, dropping leaflets, looking for boat people who were trying to escape the island, who were stranded or on makeshift rafts. And it was a big deal. If people don't remember, especially South Florida people don't remember what it was like when thousands of people, this is in the 80s and 90s, were coming over from Cuba, from Haiti, other places where there was a lot of political unrest, seeking freedom, seeking escape from fear of political violence, and literally risked their lives to travel on the 90 miles of, I'm talking about, it's ocean now. If you've ever, I've been out there on a jet ski, but not going across all the way to Cuba, of course, but 90 miles in open ocean on these rafts. It was a very harrowing time in our history in South Florida. So this, for people who've lived here and know kind of the history of how important this is, especially to Cuban voters, is leading to some discussion as to why is this happening. And I may answer that question from my own opinion. Again, the opinions expressed here on the Suzette Speaks Show are that of me, the host, our guests, and callers. If you want to call me, you can express your opinion, 850-446-0562. 850-446-0562. I'm going to read an opinion of one of my viewers. Hey, guys, on the YouTube side. And it kind of dovetails with some of the questions people are asking. I see Miss Bina. Thank you for your comment on my Suzette Speaks YouTube channel. She writes, well, to be honest, TBH, right? To be honest, Cubans should thank all of their Cuban American family members who voted for that man. Her words. I know the Cuban community voted for him real heavy. So I'm wondering, and there are people who are now making some, speculations as to what does this really mean? Now, the Cuban government and the Cuban president, current president, is saying this indictment is a political maneuver, that from their perspective, quote unquote. But there are other people saying, what kind of maneuver is it in the United States? Now, people are this is speculation. This is just speculation. I'm telling you what I see when it comes to social media trends and what people are writing, so that we can have the discussion, right? This is not factual. This is, again, opinion, right? To understand why would the Trump administration make this move, why this move, and why now. There are some people who are saying this is a look to the midterms, and who does the Republican Party need to vote on their behalf? Now, again, I don't necessarily agree, but I'm just telling you some of the discussions that I've been seeing online. People are not dumb. People are saying, why indict the former president, the 94-year-old brother of the late Fidel Castro, for this action? And why, in such a public way, would you want to make him an example? There are people who are, I don't know, speculating. I'm not saying it's real, that this is a ploy to see, and this is an opinion, whether or not they can garner more support from the Cuban American community. I'm not saying that is exactly why, but there are many online who are speculating. So I'm sharing that as a possible perspective as to why would this be necessary after we've done this in Venezuela, removed Nicolas Maduro, who was the top ally for Cuba, top supplier for Cuban oil and energy. You took him out of his country to face a court in New York City. Now, shutting down all of the oil that has left Cuba and have left Venezuela and was heading to Cuba. So now the Cuban people have suffered because they don't have any oil. They don't have any electricity. Can you imagine if someone turned off the spigot in the United States and all of our oil and electricity ran dry? What would life be like? Well, that's what the Cuban people currently are experiencing. So looking at this very tenuous situation, we're going to monitor it. Again, what happens, we will soon find out. We don't know exactly why, but again, there are people that are saying, is this a political move to gain support of Cuban Americans come the midterms? I don't know. Again, there's just people, I've seen a lot of commentary already online. Why this? Why now? This is a Suzette Speak Show. Your time is 1:50. We're going to go back to a little bit of, I want to talk about, I know Raul Castro is top, the Venezuelan president. No, we're not going to Venezuela. Let me go into this scam. Let me leave you with this because this bothered me so much. Saw a news report on the ABC affiliate of, the ABC affiliate of Miami, in Miami, ABC Miami. Watching this news report, and I've seen this happen, and this is nothing new, over and over again. I don't want y'all, my wonderful, my good and faithful listeners, to be scammed, right? Do you know that there's a scam going on when it comes to attorneys? If you didn't know, I'm here to educate you right now, okay? This is something that I saw a news report. I saw a news report about it 9 months ago. I've seen it a couple of years ago. This is not new. And I wanted to bring it to the people because I'm tired of people being scammed. Now, again, yours truly is an attorney. I'm a personal injury lawyer. If you guys didn't know that, Suzette Speaks, yes. If you have any cases or if you have any questions about a potential case, you can always call me, DM me. Just follow me, Suzette Speaks, send me a message, right? And I'll definitely be able to at least evaluate your case for the free and see if you have any type of resolvable claim, right? There's a claim that can be addressed by legal means, right? Not everybody's claim is accepted. And again, it's done on a case-by-case basis. Just selecting an attorney is a very important decision. You cannot base it on, solely on an ad or listening to someone on the radio, right? So you're going to do that with due diligence. But nonetheless, now that I get all the disclaimers out of my tongue, but I got to be careful. You got to make sure people know that you have to you have to do your research, right? Everybody is entitled to their opinions on who's good, who's bad, and whatever. I'm not telling you to do that. I'm not telling you who is. I'm telling you, you got to do your own research. But just from my attorney's perspective, it broke my heart when I heard this. It broke my heart when I heard this news story about an immigrant family who had heard of a TikTok attorney. They got an attorney via TikTok. Now, there's so many questions with regards to this, but I got to give you the summary. According to the ABC News story, and I want to play, they have a couple of videos up with it. It hurt my heart because the lady whose husband is in detention, immigration detention, thought she found a legitimate attorney on TikTok, and it was someone else, a non-attorney, pretending to be an attorney to scam her out of her money. It was the most horrendous thing. I know people, money is already tight. They save up already to, put a down payment or a retainer on an attorney and do all the things that they have to do. But sadly, this is a new scam going around. So I want to make sure I just let you know, as our listeners, don't fall for it. Don't fall for it. Be wise, especially our elders. But this lady is a younger woman. So what happened to her? Basically, according to ABC News, they are making fake courtrooms, sham hearings. Like, they got people pretending to be the immigration court in order to give people this impression that they are real courts. And it really hurts me that this poor lady, let me just share the story with you. So fake courtrooms, even sham hearings, immigrants are targeted by scams amid the Trump administration's deportation push. What is happening? Well, in this case, a 21-year-old from Guatemala, her name is Edith, had remained in her home with her 1-year-old baby, Justin, for weeks after selling her only means of transportation. She sold her car. So being stuck at home, locked up inside is very, very difficult, she told ABC News. This is an article published maybe a couple weeks ago on May 5th. Edith, a U.S. citizen who was raised in Guatemala and requested she only be referred to by her first name out of concern over her privacy, sold her car and spent her life savings to pay someone who she thought was an attorney to help her husband, Demas is his name, who was arrested and placed in immigration custody in March. After her husband Demas, the undocumented breadwinner of the family, was quickly sent to a detention center in Georgia. Miss Edith sought out an immigration lawyer on social media, where a stranger recommended a supposed Florida-based attorney. This is her story, y'all. She got scammed by people pretending to be attorneys. How do we prevent this? We're going to get to that in just a second. So according to her interview with ABC News, Edith, quote, says, I was scheduled for a video call, and the woman who said she was a lawyer said that to get someone out of the immigration detention or habeas corpus, a brief for habeas corpus needed to be filed. Let me get this straight. So she said she spoke to a woman who was pretending to be a lawyer. She didn't know that. After TikTok, after she met her on TikTok, she set up a so-called hearing with the lady. And she said that to get someone out of immigration detention, a habeas corpus needed to be filed, Edith told ABC News. Well, this poor lady Edith, and she's not the only one, that's why I'm sharing it here, retained the woman and began communicating with her frequently. She completed documents the woman sent her as if like she was being retained as an attorney. And she began sending the woman payments. She even received documents that appeared to be from the United States Citizenship and Immigration Services, the USCIS, the federal agency that oversees immigration services. She began asking for money, $500 for this, $600 for that, $1,750 for that, $4,000 for that, for the bond, petition, copies of the forms, Edith told ABC News. But last month, when the woman was scheduled to participate in a video call for Demas's actual hearing, the initial hearing before an immigration judge, the so-called attorney, the scammer, pretending to be an attorney on a TikTok, sadly never appeared for the call. According to ABC News report, Edith's husband later told her that the judge said the attorney wasn't registered in the court system. He said, they're scamming you, is what the husband told. This is our husband that's in immigration detention, told her. I said, but why? Why me? I started to feel really bad and I did not know what to do. So think about this. This is a citizen whose husband was a breadwinner, got locked up for being undocumented. And she sold her car and has spent her life savings to get a legitimate, what she thought was an attorney. But the lady on TikTok who had fake paperwork sent to her. It's mind-boggling to me that people are going to this level. We got to do better, America. What is going on? So after confronting the woman, this is what happened, according to ABC News. After confronting the woman that she had so-called hired, Edith realized that she had been scammed out of more than $10,000, her life savings. And with all her money gone, she was unable to pay for a legitimate lawyer to represent her husband, who was last month ordered deported by an immigration judge. This poor lady, how bad would you feel that you thought you hired an attorney? This is why hiring an attorney is such a serious business. You can go on a bar website, no matter what state you're listening from, whether you're in Georgia, whether you're in Florida. You have to cross-check and make sure these people are registered. Also within the immigration system, you can check to see if that attorney is registered. I want this to stop. I would hate for this to happen to another poor soul who is just trying to find an attorney for their case. So you always have to cross-check and double-check. You cannot always believe what you immediately see when these people are popping up on your timeline, popping up on your TikTok, for you, Instagram, whatever. Right? So an immigration lawyer who was interviewed by ABC News added, in my experience, quote, this is $1 billion industry, said Jorge Rivera, an immigration lawyer from Florida. Mr. Jorge Rivera, the lawyer, told ABC News that scammers, including the woman who Edith hired, have used his credentials and his law firm information to target immigrants. So he himself, this attorney, as a part of this interview, has said his own name and likeness has been used fake, right, by scammers to deceive possible clients who don't know that they're being scammed by people who are not immigrants, stealing this attorney's identity, basically. The attorney reports to ABC News, quote, "These victims have shown up to our office and they say, 'What happened to my case?' he said. And he's looking like, 'I never had your case.'" ABC News found cases of sophisticated immigration scams across the country, including New York, where 5 defendants pled not guilty to charges accusing them of holding, quote, "sham immigration proceedings," including asylum interviews and court appearances. They make it look like it's real, but it's a Zoom with their friends. You have to do your diligence. My people, this is a warning to you. Because according to this complaint, this woman spent all her money on a fake attorney and her husband. Woo. End up being deported. I gotta go, y'all. More Suzette Speaks tomorrow from 1 p.m. to 2 p.m. Salute to everybody.
Better sounding radio. WLYF HD2 Miami, 101.5 HD2.
I ran out of time and I didn't even realize it. See you guys. Bye.